All that shortly, but first, sources telling WION that India has responded to the Pakistan High Commission's claims of alleged harassment of Pakistan diplomats over the last few days, assuring safety to the Pakistan officials. As per sources, the Indian Foreign Ministry has also indicated that Indian officials have also faced harassment in Pakistan, but it was never reported publicly. While India promises of taking up investigations into the matter, it has criticized Pakistan in the same breath for the hostility faced by the Indian diplomats in Islamabad. Sources in the Foreign Ministry say that the Indian High Commission in Pakistan has been facing tremendous harassment for long. But Indian diplomats have always chosen to tackle the matter with quiet and persistent diplomacy rather than by airing issues in the media. In fact, sources add that in February, the Indian High Commissioner met the Foreign Secretary of Pakistan to lodge a strong protest against multiple acts of hooliganism against Indian properties and personnel. India's residential complex in Islamabad, remember, was raided by Pakistan agencies who expelled all Pakistani service providers and later disconnected power and water supply. Sources also go on to say that in another such incident, an Indian official's home was broken into and his laptop stolen. The High Commissioner's car was recently stopped by Pakistani agencies in the middle of a busy road to prevent him from attending an event. Sources telling WION that aggressive surveillance, violation of physical space and tailing of the officers in close and dangerous proximity is a perennial issue. The question that arises is Pakistan guilty of mistreating Indians? Now responding by playing the victim. Is it just a harassment claim by Pakistan to cover up its own wrongdoing? Let's go straight across now to our correspondent Ramesh Ramachandran. First up, Ramesh, this of course is an extensive list of harassment of Indian officials in Pakistan which continues. In the latest, the claim that Pakistan has made of their own officials being harassed in India seems to be backfiring because India has now responded with an extensive list of their own officials being harassed.
Right, so this is what has happened in the last day or two. Pakistani media, especially the Dawn newspaper, quoted this morning, quoting Pakistani sources as telling them that the Pakistani diplomats working in New Delhi have been harassed by the Indian agencies. As you mentioned, the children of some of the employees were harassed and the vehicles were stopped. And this also in addition to a démarche issued by the Pakistani ministry and to the Indian High Commission in Islamabad. So Indian sources are now telling us, and especially WION, that India has assured Pakistan of investigating these accusations and allegations. But then at the same time, Indian sources are telling us that this has become the new norm, so to speak, in India-Pakistan relations. And sources telling us that this harassment has become routine or commonplace for Indian High Commission personnel serving in Islamabad. For instance, the High Commissioner's car was recently stopped by Pakistani agencies in the middle of a busy road to prevent him attending an event. So clearly, acquisitions are being traded back and forth, and this is not new. If the recent history of India-Pak relations anything to go by.
Absolutely. Ramesh, many of these incidents that have been cited by the Indian government as well tell us of continued harassment, at least as has been cited by the Indian side. But can we also say that Pakistan now seems to be covering up those cases with their own claims and allegations?
Indeed, I mean, Pakistan has always had this knack of playing victim in any circumstance, and this is one such example of the pot calling the kettle black. Pakistan has been known to have done much worse to Indian diplomats posted in Islamabad. And as sources have told WION that electricity connection, water connection to the High Commission, residential properties and establishments were curtailed not so long ago. And the High Commissioner himself motorcade was stopped. So clearly, Pakistan, you can't put nothing past them. And this is the latest in a series of instances that Pakistan is crying foul, so to speak.
All right, we're going to leave it there for the moment. Ramesh Ramachandran breaking it down for us as he was just mentioning the accusations and counter-accusations that have only escalated over the last 24 hours or so between India and Pakistan.